And we are back again with another episode on the CHRD podcast. This is your boy, Classicus, aka Casimiro Sithole, and today we've got a guest, our first ever guest on our show. I won't say much. I'll let him introduce himself. Who do we have with us today?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am Makhubela, and I'm the RCL president of KBL.
Makhubela,
Yes.
the RCL
Yes.
of KBL. I mean, within the RCLs, we've got different positions, I guess. Which one are you there?
Well, I play the most significant role, which is the RCL president.
Okay.
Yes.
President. Guys, we're chilling with the president today. We're in the presence of the president.
Yes.
So, to not waste any further time, because our time is limited. You know, we're not sure if we're going to have this show today or not, because to get the RCL's president, it's not easy. So let's use the time wisely. I'll jump straight into questions. I've got questions here that I got from my team, and I've got other questions that I would like to ask myself. Né? But the first one that I want you to break it down to us, né? It's how do you become an RCL president?
Well, firstly, you have to participate in the class rep. And then, after being a class rapper, there will be an RCL election. As in going to the RCL elections, you will therefore be elected to play certain roles, and you'll be asked the questions. What is the reason you want to become an RCL, and what position do you want to play, and what for instead? That's how they elect RCLs.
Did you ever become a class rep, maybe in primary school?
Yes, I was 2017 in grade 5.
Grade 5?
Yes.
Okay, and that side, I know that in primary schools, they've got things like I think it's called head boy.
Yes, but unfortunately we didn't have a head boy. We just class reppers of the class, that's it. We didn't have prefects that will go around the school, monitor everything.
Is class rep short for class representative?
Yes.
Okay, and then I want us to go back to the one of class reps, né?
Yes.
The one that you mentioned before we get into the RCLs in terms of the presidency and everything.
Yes.
Class reps, is it the school teachers that choose, or is it your peers that choose?
Well, the teachers will appoint the learners. After appointing the learners, the classmates will then decide who they want to lead the class, who will represent their concerns and interests within the class. So the duty that the teacher will do will just appoint us who wants to become class reppers. Then the thing that the teacher will do will say to the learners, okay, you will then vote who you want to be class rapper. That's how you
maybe in the voting process, no? Of being a class rep.
Yes.
Surely you have to say something for people to vote for you.
Yes, you have to say something, of course.
What did you say actually for them to vote for you?
Well, I said I want to become class rapper because of it's the best thing that I can come up with. I have the political knowledge,
okay.
I have the leadership knowledge.
Okay.
What else would they want?
Okay. Okay.
The best they have within me.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then after being elected, right?
Yes.
As a class rep.
Yes.
What are your roles as a class rep?
So, you have to maintain peace and quiet, also to maintain the peace within the learners in the class, and also to report their issues to the class teacher. Because you know, in the class, there's a lot of things that are taking place, like discrimination, racial discrimination, and stuff. But then you as an elected class rapper, you have to represent the interest to the teacher. Say, okay, teacher, this is what's happening, I'm taking it to you. You shall come up with solutions, what to do. I've done my part, that's it.
So in terms of the one of peace, right? Don't you find it challenging sometimes?
What?
If, let's say you've got people,
Yes.
or your peers, the ones which are older than you,
Yeah.
right? Or the ones which look intimidating. Don't you find it challenging to maintain peace with them?
It is a bit difficult, you know, to do that because of now. They're not same as they just you because now. What are you going to tell them? Understand? And besides, it's not like everybody's going to listen to you and say, hey, this is how we do things. Just there and there, some of those people, not everybody will just listen to you. Understand? Yes.
Okay. And then the other one that I want us to look into before we go to the one of RCLs, right?
Yes.
Let's say that your teacher gave you maybe a task, right?
Yes.
Or maybe it's more of like, do you see your code of conduct?
Yes, the code of conduct.
Let's say it's something like that, and you have to go and discuss with your classmates, for you to come up with something. Do such things happen?
Well, they do, but most of the time those matters are being taken to the higher authority like the RCLs.
Like the RCLs.
Yes, most of the time if you were to do something or a project, you have to firstly consult the RCL that, okay, you know what, in a certain class, this is what we want to do. So what is your vision and mission towards this plan? Exactly, you approach the higher authority first.
Okay, talking about the higher authority, let's take it to the higher authority. How do you get elected to be an RCL president, and who participates within the RCL elections?
The teachers come as the RCL committee. They will gather the meeting whereby all the class reps from grade 8 to 12 will come. And then they'll be asking, who are those who want to be becoming RCLs? But then, not everybody, right? What they will do is that whoever wants to become RCLs has to be appointed. And then each position will consist of 4 people. When it consists of 4 people, from those 4 people, one must win.
Okay.
All those people will go through questions that will have to be asked within that. Okay, since you want to become RCL president, why do you want to become RCL president? What's your reason? And you should clarify that, okay, this is my name and this is why I want to become RCL president. And then, but then after then, people will decide that, okay, you are voting or not. Besides, they will not tell you directly, no, you are voting for it. There will be ballot papers that will take place. Remember, same as like the IEC.
Yes, yes.
There's ballot papers, you tick whoever you tick, then the results will come the next day.
So in terms of the ballot papers, are they given to all the learners in school, or only the people that are participating in the elections of RCLs?
Yes, only the class reps.
Only class reps?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then again, you have to say a message to them for them to vote for you.
Well, it depends. Sometimes you don't say a message.
Sometimes you say a message.
Yeah, you just get straight to the point. Why do you want to become RCL? You clarify that, then yeah, people will decide that, okay, it's very meaningful. Let's take it.
Okay.
Yes.
And then earlier on, you spoke about the authority, right, of the RCLs, the power that the RCLs have in terms of other matters not being discussed by class reps. They have to be discussed by RCLs.
Yes.
So what kind of matters are the ones which are discussed by RCLs?
Well, as the RCL, we have to champion the interest of learners, right? So maybe a learner has something like a solution or something, an idea. They will have to consult with the RCL and say, RCL.
And do you think that,
yes,
with the schools whereby the teenage pregnancy is high,
yes,
and like a lot of learners are smoking drugs and also taking other substances, and also this high number of absenteeism and also bullying, do you think that the RCLs are not doing enough in those schools, or what do you think is happening?
Well, you know, I basically think that the RCL is doing something, right? But then there's things that the RCL cannot invade to. There's things that the RCL cannot control, like teenage pregnancies and stuff, and smoking. What they do basically is to record and take the issues to the higher authority. But then the one for smoking and teenage pregnancy, that is an issue whereby the Department of Basic Education has to consult and rethink about it, that what is the way forward from this point. Because now the RCL, yes, it has power, but doesn't have that power to control what everybody does in the school. Because now, yes, they can monitor what happens in the school environment, but outside of the school, there's nothing that they're going to do.
True. And then also, in terms of the introduction of cameras right now, because we're in the 4th IR, or the technology era, right now, do you think that the cameras being introduced in schools is going to be helpful in terms of monitoring things like that?
Very, very helpful. The cameras will therefore help us to identify who's smoking, who's selling weed, who's doing wrongdoings, and everything. So by having cameras, then our problems will be therefore very easy that way.
Because if you check right now also, besides that, we've got the problem of also children that cheat, right, in the exam rooms, right? And also I mean, children cheat even if you have teachers, no?
Yeah.
So do you think that if with the camera, all corners in a classroom, right? Do you think that it will be also helpful there?
That would be very helpful, but at the same time, it would be a waste of a resource that 4 cameras in a class, each class. We also have to look at the budget, right? Because now having 4 cameras in a class, then it would be therefore difficult. Because now the kids, they're capable of doing anything. They can vandalize those cameras, they can move them. But remember now, we're living in times of load sheddings. So things in that way, they're easy to do. As soon as electricity goes off, they can do something to vandalize those cameras. So it will be like now, it is a waste of money that took place. That's how it can be.
Maybe to link the one of the cameras with the one of when you enter the schools, right? There's that thing that they use to search people sometimes, if they're not searching them, that thing which they use. Doesn't that, it uses battery, I guess?
Yes, it does.
So, with that one, is it helpful, or do you think that we should stick to the old methods of using our own hands to search people?
Well, I think both is helpful, using hands and the scanning device.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's still confusing that at our school they still have those things, scanning device, but still, every time you'll find them smoking. It is still very shocking that how come they have scanning devices that scans people, but still no difference that is taking place.
Do you sometimes take part in those searchings in the morning as an RCL?
Yes, we do that most of the time.
Oh, okay. And then, going to, I've got this statement, right? In public school, in public schools and private schools, right? We know that there's difference between the two. And there's this saying that in private schools, learners are very, very respectful and they follow the instructions that side. Do you think that's true?
That is very true, because often in public schools, the reason why there's issues in public schools is because of the public schools still follow the order of the legislation of the country, whereby learners have the right to education. So at the same time, that is destroying us. Remember, there's some learners whereby they're being forced to go to school. They don't basically want to go to school. They're being forced by parents. That's why at school we are facing problems like this. Because, of course, in a private school, you have no choice to go to school because your fees are getting paid. You also want to get successful and stuff. In public schools, yes, we also do that, but at the same time, there are learners whereby they're just being forced. You could clearly tell from a mile away that, no, this guy doesn't want to be here. He's just being forced by his or her parents. That's why there's always problems accumulating in public schools.
So is that one of the causes in terms of the results of private schools being very, very high and the ones of public schools being low? Because that side they're paying and this side is for free.
Even if it was paying or for free, still the problem is that there's issues that need to be tackled. Both schools can be even, but then we're looking at the measurements of okay, what type of people need to be fixed and what type of things needs to be fixed. Because remember, in private schools, things are very orderly. This order is everything. In public schools, we remember there's a lot of us. We can't remember who is who. That's why problems accumulate.
And then if right now, right, you go to another institution like universities, right, would you want to be a president that side?
Yes, I would love to be a president a lot.
So you've got the ambitions of being a president also somewhere else.
That's why next year I will also be campaigning again.
So it's allowed for you guys to be a president or to be the RCL members in committee more than once?
Well, it depends. If you become a class rep again, maybe you might get a chance again to do it. Remember, to be an RCL, you must firstly become a class rep. And not only that, even if you become a class rep, still the learners will still have to vote for you. If you didn't win enough, then you can't do it.
And which grades cannot take part in the RCL committee?
Well, all the grades take part, but I don't know in primary. Actually, in primary there's no RCL committee.
Yes, in primary obviously there's not on that side.
Yes, but in my school, all the grades except grade 12.
Except grade 12, right? Okay. And then which brings me to the question of saying that, therefore, if grade 12s are not taking part with the other grades, I guess that there's a belief of saying that you taking part in the RCL committee won't distract you in your education.
Well, it depends on what you do. Remember, you must have a management whereby now you plan your things and how you're going to do your things, right? But remember, in grade 12, there's a lot of work and a lot of pressure. So you can't handle both the pressure, being RCL and becoming a grade 12. But then at least in grade 8 to 11, yes, you still have pressure, but then you know how to minimize and comply to that management, whereby you know, okay, I have the time to study,
yes,
I have the time to become an RCL, I have the time to myself. That's how things are done.
Okay. And then I also want us to touch on the other aspect of child participation, right? How would you define child participation on your own?
Well, I think whereby child participation is whereby children have to consult on issues that affect them or the issues that affect within the family. But then there's issues that children cannot approach, whereby they need adultery consultations that have to take place. That's okay.
So it's more of like a guidance in a way.
Yes.
And would you say that right now in our communities, right?
Yes.
And also in places like schools or maybe places like place of worship, would you say that child participation is being practiced?
Well, it depends where, because there is child participation, it's there and there, not everywhere.
Not everywhere, yes. And then also we've got these myths that exist around our communities, right? Of which the first one, it's saying that children, right, lack experience to participate. More of like right now, we won't consult you at school in terms of the food that you guys must eat because you guys lack experience. Do you think that myth makes sense?
Well, I don't think it does, because now remember, we are not controlling what's happening in the school, right? The person who's responsible for that is the principal. He's the one who's going to do everything that takes place, make sure that there's enough food for everybody and everything.
So you are saying that in terms of the diet, let's say the food that has been ate at school, your rice, your fish, your maize meal, you're saying that the school teachers, the principal in particular, must be the one that takes the decision in the best interest of the learners.
Yes.
Okay? And then let's say that right now, because the statement is saying that you guys cannot participate due to lack of experience, right? So are you also saying that parents shouldn't consult their children in terms of the clothes that they want to buy for them, or what do you think of that one?
Well, I think therefore parents should consult the learners about whatever they want to buy them. Because remember, these nowadays you can't just buy your child whatever you believe that you want to buy. You have to know what your child likes, what your child does not like. So I think then consultation is very important. Because remember, you must also, because now you might make a mistake, buy something, and you bring it home, it doesn't fit.
Yes.
So you see, at least if you consult your child and you know the size, then things are a bit easier at that point, in that way. That's okay.
And not only that, if you look at the fashion of how they used to wear back then and how things are being done right now, how the current generation is wearing their clothes, it's way too different. So surely our parents, if they go and buy clothes, they would dwell on the past and how things were done back then compared to now. And then we've got this other myth here, which is saying that children must accept responsibilities before they can be granted rights. What do you think of that myth?
I think, yeah, the responsibility one is very meaningful. Remember, they say your rights come with responsibilities.
Yes. So are you saying, so they're saying that before we grant you the rights, we must grant you the responsibility.
That is true.
So you believe in that?
Yeah, responsibilities are very important.
Okay. And then I'll go to the other myth, which is saying that child participation is not part of our traditional culture. It talks to what was being done back in the days to say that our parents, right? Their parents never consulted them. They would do things on their behalf. So what do you think about that in terms of the culture part?
Well, it depends what type of cultures, because remember, there's some cultures that still believe, not always, that children have no voice in issues. But then, if we can take a look now, things have changed now. Children, they now can channel their voices and say, no, this is how I feel, this is how I see things, this is how I feel like they are. Back then, you couldn't therefore like just rise and say, no, this is how I feel and this is how I see things.
Okay. And then the other one, right, is the one of saying that child participation will lead to lack of respect for parents. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, it will sort of lead to lack of respect, because now remember, so you now have the power to approach your parents and say, okay, this is how I do. But remember, I think in the child participation there must be limitations that has to take place. There's certain things that you're not supposed to address your parent about and say, no, this is how I see things. But at the same time, child participation is still important. But then we have to look at that there's things that children are not supposed to say, children are not supposed to talk about. So I see that way, yeah.
Maybe in terms of things that they're not supposed to talk about, let's throw in the sex education, right?
Yes.
Or the sexual and reproductive health education in schools, right? Do you think that parents in this current era
Yes.
have those conversations with their children?
Yes, as you've mentioned it before, it does happen, because remember, there's some parents who still live in that life way back now, you remember? But then there's parents who still live nowadays. So there is some parents who consult their children about their sex life and stuff, but then there are those parents that they don't want to just consult their learners about those things. They do not want to even talk about it. They will tell you about education, going to varsity, graduating, fixing your life, and then you'll approach those things. But then further than that, they will not want you to approach those matters.
And what do you think those parents do if they find their children out there? Let's say that the parent has a boy child,
Yes.
and he or she finds the child with a girl. What do you think the parents do?
Of course, the parents will get mad. Of course.
They get mad.
Because if they know it's parents, okay, maybe they will just think about it. But then further than that, of course, as they see both of them, some parents, these ideologies come to them, what will they do? Then it comes where it leads to a problem.
Okay. I've got two other myths here, and I'm going to start with this one. So this one is saying that children who participate are not representative. So it's more of like saying that, because you are an RCL, right? It's more of like saying that you convince people to choose you to be the class rep first, and then you convince people again to choose you to be an RCL, whereas you are not, you can't lead. You can't be able to talk for them. Do you think that these things do happen?
Yes, they do happen. This nowadays is difficult to identify a leader.
Yes.
Someone who, because now, these days, I've seen something about this generation. They don't elect someone due to leadership skills. They just elect you because how much they know you, or how much they like you, or how much famous you are. They don't elect you because of now, no, this guy has leadership skills. That's how difficult it becomes. Because they didn't identify the persona that you have within you. So that's the mistakes that takes place nowadays.
Do you, okay, and still on that one, in schools, for class reps and RCLs, is the process which is being used, right, to elect class reps and RCLs proper? Is it proper?
Yes, it is very proper. But then, remember, no one will show the real size that am I really a leader, or I just want to do this because of fun. Okay. There will be those ones where they want to do it because of their leadership skills, and there's these ones, okay, they want to do it because of what? They want fame. They want reputations for themselves. But how are we going to identify that a certain person has leadership skills? That's the mistakes that they do when they go through RCL elections. They don't identify real leadership. They just take someone just who doesn't know anything, which becomes a problem later that affects people around.
But I think we think they chose the right leader. I think they did have eyes on that. They saw that this one has got great leadership skills. The last myth, it's saying that children with disability are unable to participate in decisions affecting them. So children with disability, do you think that this myth is true?
That is very true.
Are you saying that, so can we repeat the myth?
Yes.
Children with disability are unable to participate in decisions affecting them.
Yes, that's true, because of now, children with disabilities, it's difficult for them to participate because of no one gives them the voice so that they can represent what are the issues that they face. That is why now people with disabilities have difficulties in this world because no one channels their problems. Understand? But then I think now this is the time where even people with disabilities have to be consulted, because remember they're also humans as well. It doesn't mean when they can't walk anymore or can't talk, they're nothing. They're still humans. So they also have a voice that they have to represent. Even if they can't speak for themselves, they have to find a representative that will speak in terms of disabilities, who will represent them.
And do you think that in our community, do we accommodate them? Is there equality in our facilities?
Well, it depends what area it is, but at some places they very accommodate people with disabilities, they treat them proper, give them food, they do everything for them, they wash it for them. But at some places, things are just going the other way around. It's difficult as a person with disability.
And in terms of our schools, right, in our communities, again, township communities, right? If right now a learner happens to be involved in a car accident, right, and they're paralyzed, are the schools accommodative, or what then happens to a child if maybe the child has to use things like wheelchair?
Well, from my school they do accommodate. Because there's a guy who's still using some crutches, they still accommodate that guy. They still help him when he has to go to stairs. Some learners come quickly, they help him to ride the stairs and go to the class. So my school has nothing against people who have disabilities. They accommodate them.
And then I'm going to go to the another question,
Yes.
of saying that if you were the president, right,
Yes.
just focusing on the schools, right,
Yes.
in terms of what they're looking like right now and everything, what is it that you will bring to improve the quality of education and make sure that the issues which are there are no longer there?
Well, firstly, the thing that the government has to do is whereby now the president has to change the education system of the school. Change everything, consult international relations, whereby now they're going to talk to foreign countries that are well developed so that they could help us in education problems, so that we can be educationally developed, whereby even our education facilities can change. People could learn about what they want to do,
Yes.
not to learn about what other people have done. Yes, it is also correct because now it inspires you. But at the same time now, people want to learn about what they want, which could take a huge significant role in everybody's life.
I heard you saying that you can change the education system, meaning that the current one does not favor everyone, I guess.
Yeah, it's very legit.
So we've been, we've been talking about serious stuff, serious questions here. I want us to be children again, go to the playing mode now. No? So we're going to play a game, right? And I'm going to change the questions from the ones that I have here, because I think you saw the questions. I don't know how, but then I'm going to change them and try to bring different questions, no? And see if you know how to play, you know how to be a child.
Yes, okay,
That's right. So I'm going to bring in an easy one. I think it's an easy one for everyone, no? The one that I'm going to bring. According to my own understanding, the easy one. Which country won the football World Cup?
2023, 2022.
2022.
I forgot, but it's Messi's team.
It's a Messi's team. Okay, yes, you've got it. At least you know who plays for the team.
I think Argentina.
Yes. Okay, you got that one right. And then I'm gonna continue on the sports side. I want to see how if you know your country sports
Yes.
and everything. No? What is the nickname of our national football team?
I think Bafana Bafana.
Okay, I know you're following. You follow sports. Then the other one, what is the nickname of our rugby national team?
I think Springboks.
Springboks,
Yes.
okay. Alright. Okay, I know you're getting them correct. I love to run away from sports. Let me see, which one can we go for? What is the capital city of Limpopo?
If I'm not mistaken, it's Pulukwa.
Okay, Alright. And then the last one, right? What can I ask about? Let me see. Let me see. Give me some time. But then this one must be the easiest one. Very easy. Who is the current deputy president?
Well, it's Mr. Paul Mashatile.
Mr. Paul Mashatile. I mean, a lot of young people out there, when you go and ask them who is the current deputy president, they don't know.
Yeah, it's because I think they don't follow politics much.
So you follow politics?
Yes.
Still on the other following politics, do you know about Nelson Mandela before? You've never heard of it before, and you've never heard anyone mention it?
Nobody.
So this is your first time?
First time.
Maybe to give you a brief of what Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament is, it's a place or a parliament, right, for children, where they go and talk about their issues that they are facing in the country. By children, I mean that all the provinces, they bring children to represent each and every province, right? They talk about the issues that they're facing and come up with solutions. And the minister is there to listen to their issues. So you've never heard about it. What do you think? Why do you think that's the reason for you to have never heard about it? Because if you have never heard about it and you are an RCL member, surely a lot of children out there in the community have never heard about it too.
I think they didn't promote it enough. That's why most of the time, even if now we could go and ask other people about the Nelson Mandela National Parliament,
Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament,
still some will be confused what are you talking about, because what we know about Nelson Mandela is the Nelson Mandela Foundation and other stuff. But this one, some of us have never heard of before. I think it is due to lack of promotion at that time. That's why some of us will be ending up confused about this one.
And then do you think that in our communities, right, do you think that we have enough spaces for young people or children to meet up and talk about the issues that they're facing, more like safe spaces?
Well, I think there is some recreation centers where they can meet and just have a big conference whereby they will discuss social issues that they get every time. I think this could be that time whereby they have to do such things now.
So you're saying that you do have, right?
Yes.
Are they enough? Because in terms of the number of children that we have, for a lot of children.
Well, they're not that enough, but we still have sports ground where I think whereby they could all meet. Accompanied by the Department of Social Development, whereby if the Department of Social Development can come, then where it's going to be easier to avoid those issues, whereby the Department of Social Development will take those issues to the President so they can see what's happening forward from there.
Maybe not to forget this point also, sometimes the government, right, come to our communities, they build recreational facilities, right, for children, and they don't use them. Do you think that the government consults children in terms of what they need before they come to the ground? And also, do you think that in terms of things like your Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament or platforms that we as children can meet up and talk about the issues that we're facing and come up with solutions, do you think we need them? That's the same question. So the first one is that, do you think that government comes to the ground and consult all children in terms of what is it that they need? And then the second one is that, do you think that we as children, are we interested in platforms like your Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament, or platforms that we can meet up and talk about our issues?
Well, I think the government did not do enough by consulting the leaders, because now they've never done that before. They just do their own meeting without consulting children about what they face. But I think at the same time it would be good idea that they recruit all children so they can discuss those issues. So everything then could end there. Because at the same time, if we do that, that's the way we can avoid drug abuse and other things in the communities.
And then as children, do you think that we need those platforms whereby, do we as children need those platforms whereby we can meet up and talk about our issues?
I think we need those platforms very, we need them a lot. It would help us at all means, at all times.
Okay, and the last question to wrap up our conversation, right, is that what is your word of advice to the upcoming RCLs next year, basically, because that's...
I think the word of advice that I have for them is they have to be patient about it. They have to be ambitious about it. They have to know how the RCL works. They must know how to consult learners. They must know how to speak with learners. They must know how to deal with issues and abbreviate those matters whereby they will come up with solutions. But further than that, whoever wants to come RCL can come.
Maybe before I forget the last, because I think it just popped up in my mind.
Yes.
I left it in your own, right? In terms of the training, you guys get training when they elect you to help the RCLs. Are you guys trained?
No, we don't get trained.
So there's no training, you guys are just elected, and then like you are told that these are your roles and responsibilities.
Sometimes they don't even tell.
You have to figure it out yourself.
You have to figure it out yourself. Okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to do a movement? That's how it works most of the time.
Okay, and I think we've reached the end in terms of the questions that I had on my side. And is there any information that you would like to add from your side?
Based on?
In terms of the RCLs and the conversation that we've been having.
Well, I think from everything we've spoke about, I think therefore communication is very important to everything I've seen there. Without communication, the world has no movement. Without unity, there's no society. That's how I see it.
It's shots being shot. I'd say that knowledge is power. And how can people reach out to you?
Well, they can reach out to me to Facebook by saying Neo MK Makhubela, or if they know some people that know me, they can tell them to send out the numbers, then we can communicate and just discuss about social issues that we can tackle. That's how it is.
This has been the CHRD podcast with your boy Classic Kes, aka Casimiro Sithole. We've been having a wonderful conversation today with Neo Makhubela. Did I mention it correctly?
Makhubela.
Yeah?
Makhubela.
Makhubela, yes, Neo Makhubela. And we out till we meet again next time.